Good morning, children. Saira, welcome back to your political science online session. Children, today we shall start with part 3 of lesson number 1, working of the constitution. In our previous online session, we had discussed about two important objectives of our constitution, that is social justice and equality, and the efforts made in India to establish a society in this direction. Now, the efforts made in India to bring about justice and equality are policy of reservation of seats. Now, children, here in policy of reservation of seats, some seats are reserved for other backward classes so that they are not deprived of opportunities for education and employment. Next is the Scheduled Caste and Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act, wherein any act of atrocity committed against them is liable for punishment. Laws relating to women and provision for representation. Now let us see which were the laws for the women. The right to have an equal share in the property of father and husband, Dowry Prohibition Act, Act Against Sexual Harassment, Domestic Violence Prohibition Act. So these are the various laws relating to women and regarding provision. The 73rd and 74th Amendment, wherein 33% seats are reserved for women in local self-governing institutions, and this percentage has been raised to 50% in Maharashtra and many other states. Now let us learn about the role of judiciary in strengthening our democracy. The judiciary in India has played an important role in strengthening the democracy and helping to achieve the objectives of social justice and equality. So, judiciary has played a very important role in strengthening our democracy and to achieve the objectives of social justice and equality. Now, while interpreting the provisions of the Constitution, the judiciary has always taken into consideration the fundamental objectives of the Constitution and also the intentions of the Constitution makers. Now, here, children, what are the fundamental objectives of our Constitution? Justice, equality, liberty, fraternity. These are all the objectives and also the intentions of the Constitution makers. Now, children, you all know that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar is the architect of the Indian Constitution. Yes? Now, let us see what is the basic framework of the Constitution. The Constitution is dynamic. It is a living document. Now, what do you mean by this? The Constitution is dynamic. Children, here dynamic means that there is a scope for updation in the Constitution depending on the circumstances. It is a living document because the government, it works as per the provisions in the Constitution, or you can say it acts as per the provisions which are laid in the Constitution. The Constitution has to change according to the changing conditions, and Parliament has a power to make those changes. That is, Constitution, there can be certain changes, certain amendments, or you can say you can update the Constitution. And who does that? Parliament. Parliament has the power to make those changes. So the Constitution is dynamic. It means that there is a scope for updation. There can be certain amendments. So it is a living document because the government, it works in accordance with the provisions which are laid down in the Constitution. And Constitution has to change according to the changing conditions. Okay? And Parliament is having the power to make those changes. Okay? The judiciary has accepted this power of the parliament to make changes in the constitution, but at the same time, it has specified the limitations of this power. That is, changes cannot be made every now and then. Okay, it depends, like what are the conditions, what are the circumstances. Accordingly, the laws are made, new laws are framed, and they could be incorporated in the constitution. So, the judiciary has accepted this power of the parliament. The changes can be made in the constitution, but then there is some limitation on this power. The judiciary has taken a stand that the parliament, while amending the constitution, cannot alter the basic structure of the constitution. So, children, very important that parliament has the power to make the changes in the constitution, or you can say to make amendments in the constitution, but the judiciary has restricted its power that it cannot alter the basic structure of the constitution. Now let us see what is the basic structure of the constitution. Now children, the basic structure of the constitution, it generally includes following provisions: republican and democratic form of government, federal structure of the constitution, promotion of unity and integrity of the nation, sovereignty of the nation, secularism and supremacy of the constitution. So the basic structure, it includes republican and democratic form of government, federal structure of the constitution. Federal structure means decentralization of power, then promotion of unity and integrity of the nation, sovereignty of the nation, that is, we can govern our own country, there is no influence of any external factor. Secularism means equal respect for all religions, and supremacy of the constitution. So the parliament, when it makes amendments to the constitution, the basic structure cannot be altered. So this is the basic structure of the constitution. Now let us see what are the significant judicial decisions. The protection which is provided to the citizens by the fundamental rights in the constitution has been made more meaningful through various decisions of judiciary. Now children, you all have learnt about fundamental rights. Yes, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedy. These are our fundamental rights. So children, here the protection which is provided to the citizens by fundamental rights in the constitution has been made more and more meaningful through various decisions of judiciary. Now let us see which are the various decisions of the judiciary. Now some of the important subjects on which the court has given judgments include rights of children, protection of human rights, protection of the honor and dignity of women, individual freedom and tribal empowerment. The children, rights of children. You all know about child labor. It's banned in India, right? Then protection of human rights. All human beings are equal in the eyes of law. Protection of the honor and dignity of women. Just now we have seen various laws relating to women. Individual freedom and tribal empowerment, that is scheduled castes, scheduled tribes. They have opportunities for education and employment. These efforts have made political process in India more mature. Okay, now children, just have a look once again the judgments which are given by the court. Okay, or you can say the significant judicial decisions, that is rights of children, protection of human rights, protection of the honor and dignity of women, individual freedom and tribal empowerment. Let us see what are the features of good governance. The features of good governance include accountable and responsible government. So, the government is answerable to people It's accountable means it's answerable to people. It should be responsible and as well as effective and efficient in its working. Responsive government, and it should be transparent in its working. There should be no element of secrecy. So transparency in the working of the government, just and all inclusive development. This everybody should be equal. Okay. Then people's participation in the governing and decision making process. So these are the features of good governance. Okay. Now children, in this chapter we had learnt about working of the constitution. But children, there are many challenges before India's democracy, like for example corruption, regionalism, terrorism. These are the various challenges before our Indian democracy. Okay, so there are many problems which are still confronting us. But then too, what is important that the people in India, they have developed a democratic mindset. So though there are many problems or many challenges which are confronting us, but the people now they have developed a democratic mindset. Okay, children, I hope you have understood this lesson, working of the constitution. In our next class, we shall learn about election process in India. Okay, so till then, take care of yourself. Sign out.